Well, look, a couple points on today's report, as you just said. The first is, it's backward looking, and it doesn't reflect what we've seen over the last 30 days, which is a significant decline in gas prices, down about 40 cents. That June report, about half of it was driven by energy prices, and we've seen moderation since. But the second point is that in the core, inflation remains too high, which is why we need action. And I just want to underscore, if there's one thing to take away from this report, it's that there is more urgency now than ever in Congress moving to pass a bill to try to build more domestic semiconductors, to try to bring down the price of those goods. You see across this report things like used cars and new vehicles, those prices holding up. That is not principally driven by demand. It's driven by supply and constrained supply. We know how to solve that. We should have solved that months ago, but we now have a moment. We need to do that. If there's any takeaway from this report, it should be that.
Although that brings us right back to the circular argument, Brian, that more spending is not what you typically do in the face of high inflation. How do we break out of that circle?
No, look, I think you have to look at the unique situation that we're in as an economy and think about how do we build more supply? How do we increase the productive capacity of our economy so that we actually can supply more goods, bring prices down? We know the answer on semiconductors exactly. We need more supply of those goods. You were just talking about housing, same issue. Obviously, mortgage rates are going to increase as the Fed continues to tighten. But as we do that, we need to keep home builders building supply, because we know that at core, the housing issue is a lack of affordable supply. It's been a decade or more in the making, but as we move through this transition, providing incentives, for example, for builders to continue to build affordable homes, as we do so, that's out of the traditional box of fiscal, Keynesian fiscal stimulus. It's more about how do we actually invest to build more capability here in the country that will help bring down prices in areas like semiconductors and housing.
Brian, I am very concerned about the semiconductor bill. Pat Gelsinger, who's really been the lead, who's the CEO of Intel, I know he's getting very nervous about Ohio. I don't blame him. Is there any way that the president can say, you know what, we're stripping everything, no more Christmas tree, let's just get this done, the Republicans agree, and you get a very big victory?
Well, let me be really clear about this, and we're in constant communication with Pat and other CEOs in the industry as well. What we want is to see Congress resolve difficulties. Anything that they can't resolve, let's set that aside and let's get something done. Let's get something done right now. The most unhelpful thing is people putting ultimatums. It was unhelpful for Senator McConnell to say that we're going to hold this hostage to unrelated vehicles. We need to move beyond all of that. We need to agree where we can agree, and we need to get something done. I think that's possible. It's possible right now. This report provides further reinforcement of that. That's certainly the message that the president is communicating in his conversations on this topic, and that we're communicating as well.
Well, see, Brian, I always like to agree with you. When it does happen, it's really, I don't want to say seminal, but terrific. Now,
it doesn't always happen, but it's fun to do.
All fair in love and war. Okay, apparel. There is the biggest glut of apparel that this country's ever seen. You have both Walmart and Target saying that there's too much apparel in the system. I deal with the top 5 retailers. They all have too much apparel. How the heck can apparel be up in this? And the answer is that this is not right, that these numbers were taken before the glut developed. I think the same thing with food. I mean, we've had a dramatic decline in corn, in wheat, in soy. How come no one's paying attention to the fact that in the last 6 weeks, there's been a major change in this country with almost every one of the major things that have hurt us other than gasoline, and even gasoline's come down a bit. Why are we focused on these numbers and not what's about to happen?
Well, look, I mean, I think the numbers come out, and we're in a fast-moving period, and so it's understandable for people to focus on it. But absolutely, wheat down 30% since the relative time frame. Gas down about 8%, oil down almost 20% during that period. And I think that you are seeing these cyclical shifts. We're in communications with similar on the retailer side, and there wasn't an inventory overbuild, and that is moving its way through the system. So I think that's why I think you have to look at these numbers and understand where they are outdated, but also understand that inflation in the core is too high, which is why we're focused on what we can do here this month. This is an opportunity for us to get legislation done this month, not to put it off. There's no reason why we need to put it off for months. And this report underscores that.